Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining me tonight for some relax and craft time. I'm Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. And I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central, where we craft and we work on a project together. So right now, guys, we are working on the Jacquelynne Steves I Love Home block of the month quilt along, and we are working on block 1. I think I'm gonna finish all the applique tonight. So here we are. We got these 2 hearts done last night. So I just have this little heart here and then the ground, and I think we will be able to applique both of those this evening. We're doing needle turn applique. Right now we're doing it in the very pure traditional style of needle turn. We were doing it a little differently for the flowers and stems, just to try out different ways. So you can check out those videos if you like. But tonight we are doing needle turn. So thanks again for joining me, guys. Tomorrow I think we'll be able to start the embroidery. So the rest of this little house design will be embroidery, and I'm gonna do it in this kind of coral pink orangey color. So I'm excited to get started with that. So let's get this applique done tonight, and then we can move on. All right, guys, flipping you around. Alrighty, so let me know how your guys' day went. I had the garden attacked me today, so the zucchini tore up my arm, and then the tomatoes just dyed my arm like green. Like it doesn't wash out, it's just green, so the garden was not happy with me today. Jerks. All right, anyway, that's how my day went. Being attacked by the garden. All right, I'm gonna work on this guy here, and to trace it. Oh, thanks for all the little thumbs up, guys. I appreciate it. So, all right, I'm gonna just cut out this last heart here. So this I originally cut in the freezer paper, but I don't actually need it for what we're doing here. Oh, you guys are sweet. But I'm gonna use it so I can trace the design onto the fabric. Oh, Connie, you finished cutting out your fabric. Awesome job. Yeah, I know for me that took quite a while. So that's why we're still on block 1. I think block 2 through 4, which there's only 4 blocks, I think those will go really quick because now all of the fabric is cut out for the whole entire thing. All right, let's just, yeah, that's it right there. So I'm gonna do this outside heart. Oh, thanks, Ashley. I'm gonna do this outside heart, and then I think I'll embroider a little heart on the inside. So that's my plan right there. So, all right, there's our shape. I'm gonna use this kind of weird faux, kind of, I don't know, wood grain type fabric that I found for that little door. Let's see, we'll cut from the top here. So let's see if my blue water-soluble marker, let's see if I can even see this. Usually I can see it pretty well. Even on dark colors, sometimes you'll see where it kind of seeps in the blue. So let's see if that's the case here. I'm kind of marking it quite a bit, just hopefully I can see it. Otherwise, I do have a white water erasable pencil. I might have to break that out here, which means I need to find it. I think it's within reach if this doesn't work. I can sort of see it, but I think it might be a hair better if I do it with the white erasable thing. So let's see. I got my go-to craft kit here, and that usually has everything I need in it. And there we are. That's what I'm talking about. My white water-soluble pencil. I think this will work a little bit better. So let's try again here. Yeah, this is gonna work better. Still gotta kind of scratch it in there. Hey Tracy, oh hi Jane. Hi from New Jersey and Maine. That's awesome. All right. We might even get some people from the future in here. I always think that's fun. The overseas people are from the future. All right, there. Now you can see it much better, can't you? So, all right, that'll work great. Don't need that anymore. Let's get our fabric scissors out. I'm gonna just kind of cut around that shape to start out, just so I don't have to deal with this giant piece of fabric. Oh, Catherine, you're here from the future. Nice. So is it Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon there for you? All right, I'm gonna cut around with a little less than a 1/4 inch seam allowance on here. Hi, Holly. All right, around the bend and back down to the bottom there. Oh, it's 2:40 p.m.ish already. Oh, okay. That's later than I was thinking it was. All right, I'm not going to cut that yet. I am going to cut these little, oh wait, let's use the pinking shears again. That was fun. So pinking shears, those are the scissors with the little zigzag in it, pinking shears. I was going to look up what that meant, but I forgot. I'm going to cut around the curves with the pinking shears. Cutting little notches, zigzags like that out around curves helps reduce the bulk when you flip it over. So we're just going to kind of pre-do that, just because I like using the pinking shears. All right, let's kind of get this on here. So I'm trying to line up my white line here with my blue line that I have behind here, and we're just going to get it as, you know, good as I can. Doesn't matter all that much. Kind of looks funny like that. All right, let's get some thread. I'm going to baste it down first, and that just means I'm going to hold it in place somehow. That's basically what basting means, to temporarily hold something in place. And I'm going to do that by just stitching a few, like just a running stitch on here, like a dotted line stitch. Actually, I might just leave it on the ground here. So that point kind of matches up. What about these? Yeah, they're decent. All right, so I'm gonna zigzag, or not zigzag. I'm gonna start stitching right here. So I'm going to just kind of, since this is such a small piece, I'm just gonna attach it right here with a little running stitch where you just go in and out a few times. Oop, come on now. There we go. So that's going to be enough to hold it in place for me, I think. And we will pull that out later. Okay, there. Now it's stuck there at least. It'll be stuck there long enough for us to get going. Normally I would put much, or like a lot more basting stitches in, but we are working with a teeny tiny piece here, so we just don't need it. Oop, I missed the thread. All right. I'm going to put a little knot in the end here. So we just have to do this heart, and then the ground here we'll do also tonight, hopefully. All right, there we go. Let's get going. All right, so I'm going to flip under along this straightaway edge just to kind of get going here. There we go. And I'm coming from the back and grabbing like a thread or two along that folded edge. Oh, 12:42 there. Oh, it's a lot later for you guys than I thought. I was thinking it was bright and early. I know for some people it's like 2 a.m. Like, Yeah, a few places. All right. So now I got that first stitch in, so now I'm going to just work my way around. I'm going to fold the edge under till I hit my little white line that I drew on here. And I'm also trying to match it up with that background blue line as well. And once you get everything where you want it, then you start tacking it down. And this was going pretty fast for us yesterday. You can use your needle to help turn it under, which is where needle turn applique comes from, I would presume. I didn't research that, but I would presume that the act of turning the fabric under with your needle is where needle turn comes from. All right, my little white line is already kind of fading away just from handling it, which is kind of a bummer. So I'm gonna rely a little bit more on these back blue lines. I can see it a little bit yet, but it's not great. Come on, flip under there. It's interesting because all the fabrics, I mean, the fabrics that I'm using are from all different manufacturers, and each one behaves a hair differently. Just they happen to be a little different thickness affects it, and so I'm just trying to shape it a little. Okay, I think I got it. I'm starting that curve. Let's rotate a bit. Wow, can't believe we're gonna get the applique done. Hopefully. Never know. Pending technical issues, we should be able to get it done. All right, so I'm getting towards that inner point now, or I'm going to be going around the edge. So I'm going to snip into it right to where that point is, and then I'm just going to add the extra little chicken feet snips here to help me out. All right, should be good. The thing I'm kind of wondering, I mean, this is just kind of a random thing to wonder, but with needle turn is if I were to do, let's say, a whole entire huge quilt, all needle turn, right? How would I have my hand? Because right now I'm going underneath and wrapping the fabric all around, you know, in the middle of my hand here so I can grab on the top and the bottom. That in theory I wouldn't be able to do if it was a full quilt, so I don't know, we'll see. All right, watching you, maybe you should do the outside applique first. Oh, I'm not doing an inside applique on this. I'm only doing the outside heart. So in theory, I could have done this design has that outside heart and an inside heart. In theory, if I were to do the inside heart, I would have done that first, I think, just so it was attached to a piece of fabric, and then I would use that as a guide to cut out my heart, this bigger heart. But I'm not doing the inside heart. That'll be appliqued. I mean, embroidered. And then I could have embroidered that first too, but we're gonna do that all afterwards. Come over here. Yeah, and this design was kind of made to be either embroidered or appliqued, and I'm kind of combining it. So if you are planning on doing your whole thing with applique, oh, applique on the outside, so I don't have all the bulk. What do you mean by the outside? I guess I'm not quite understanding. But yeah, if you wanted to do this whole thing applique, then the house would have come first. You're going from the most far back thing to the most far up front thing. All right, going around this curve. Okay, now let's work in that point a little, which is actually pretty hard for me to see right now. So to do that inside point, I'm going to first bend this other side, the other side of the point, over quite a bit, more than what I'm going to end up needing. Oh, do all the outside appliquing before I get to the center. Oh, like do all this applique before doing this applique? I don't know. Still don't think I'm quite following you. All right, I'm gonna tuck this in by just kind of swooping it under. Folding this a little bit more than you need to helps with that. So just tucking it in. And then as I go around this curve, I'm gonna come up only in the background fabric and then go down through both the foreground fabric and the background, which is kind of a reverse of what we've been doing. I suppose I could do all my applique like this, the whole thing, coming up only through the back and going down through both, but I don't know. Feels more comfortable the other way. But the reason for doing this is so I don't accidentally puff out some of these tiny, tiny little threads. Do the outside hearts and work your way inward to the center. I guess I don't know what you mean by the center. Like, do you mean this point that I'm working on now? Like start here and go to the center and then start on the other side and go to the center? Sorry, Patricia. All right, so there we go. Got that tacked down there. That's looking good. Good half of a heart. All right, so now we can kind of start shaping this other side a little bit. Oh, so yes, to do both sides and then come up and around. Huh, I never thought about doing that before. I haven't actually gone that direction with applique before. Maybe on this long one we could practice going in reverse. But for now, I think I'll just keep going to this. Do all the outside appliquing on the outside edges, and you work your way to the center of your appliquing. But they're all outside edges. That's what I don't quite get. Oh, I know, sorry, Patricia. Like, I consider everything that I'm stitching as an outside edge, right? To me, this is like a center, and this is an outside edge. Ah, well. Such is the one-way street of a two-way video. I know, right, Catherine? The one-way street of Facebook Lives. Oh, sorry, Patricia. If you have a video or something, or like a link, I'll look at it after. All right. All right, there we kind of got our center heart there. This one I probably could have used a darker thread. I'm going to remove my basting stitches now. Don't need those anymore. Everything is being held down. All right, let's look at this shape. I can kind of see the blue line yet here. And just tuck those under. Outside edges and work to the center. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about what you mean by that. Sorry, it's late. All right, let's keep turning. Oh, do you mean if I'm working on a huge quilt? I start on the outside edges and appliques and work towards the center appliques? Is that what you mean? I don't know. Oh, because then I wouldn't, no. Bulk in my hand. Okay, so work from the outside. So, okay, so you're talking about like if this was a huge quilt with tons of applique, I would work on the ones closest to the edge first and then work my way to the center. But wouldn't that make it more bulky? Like, wouldn't I want to go from the center outward? Because then there'd be less bulk when I start. All right. So I kind of stopped using that background blue as a guide. I can see the blue line on my heart still, so I'm kind of using that a little bit. Let's get this straightaway flattened here. I think that'll help us shape this heart a little bit. Yeah. I think this heart's gonna be cute. I think I'm getting better at these hearts as I go, which is cool. Man, all that splendid sampler stuff is helping. Oh, I wouldn't have that. So I would start from the center and I'd work my way out, because if I'm starting from the center, the only bulk I would have is just the plain fabric, not fabric with tons of applique. Is that what you're saying? And then as I work my way out, you know, then I'll just inherently, by working my way out, I'll have less and less fabric to handle. All right, let's, oh, thanks, Connie. But even with a huge quilt, aren't most imaginable size blocks and sew together? I have no idea. That's what I'm wondering. I haven't ever done like a huge quilt like that, like these quilts that, you know, from, let's see if I can grab it. You know, like these, the storybook quilts, you know, like when she's doing her whole, let's find a really giant one. Like this, like check that thing out. So like that, this is a whole quilt, right? I mean, it looks like she made a quilt and then did all this applique on top. So this would be tough. Like, how would you hold like all of this in your hand while you're stitching, you know? I'm thinking maybe she doesn't. Maybe she does it more like quilting, where she's just like weaving in and out and just not, I don't know, not having her hand feel everything. Not sure. That'd be something worth looking into. Not that I'm planning on doing a whole giant needle turn applique quilt, but you know, who knows? Someday. From the outside to the inside block. I'm gonna have to look that up some more. All right, we are approaching that bottom point. I think this heart's looking pretty cute. The nice thing is that all these hearts are a hair wonky. You just do it and it gets harder the more you have done. There you go, Rosalie. I think that's the point there. It's kind of hard to tell. We'll do one more stitch. We'll go up to that blue line. Yeah, we'll do one more. Like how I had this on the ground to weave in the end. I'm wondering if she's not having her hands holding anything. I'm wondering if she has it like on her lap and she's just stitching like this, you know? Maybe she has a hard surface underneath her and stitching so she's got everything laid flat. That'd be worth trying sometime. Dang, I would need a magnifying glass though for that. I'd have to figure out like some sort of pillow cushion with that flat part on top so it's like right in front of my face, because I would not be able to see all the way down to my table. But I bet you there's a trick in there. Okay, so now we have this bulk here. Our last little bit. Let's fold. We're gonna do it with my fingers. Fold it over here. Oh, I am fine. Oh, I'm talking about this this book by, what was her name? Yukari Takahara. She's the author of Story Quilt, and she does all these are all teeny tiny appliques, and she does them she makes whole giant quilts of them too. They're pretty freaking amazing. But this book is my version is in Japanese, but you know, there's a English version too. I'm just gonna peek at it again because I know she's got some big quilts. Like, look at that thing's pretty cool. Oh, like here, look. So this is a whole quilt. Oh, I need to cut off some of that tip. Yeah, I think I'll do that, Rosalie. But yeah, look at all these itty bitty, you know, appliques that are happening within that quilt. So I'm saying, like, you know, how would I do this little guy here when he's in the center of the quilt? That's kind of what I'm talking about here. I think you're right, Rosalie, that this is a lot of bulk to try and tuck under that little corner point. So I'm gonna cut it this way a hair and a little there, and I think that will do. All right. Then we'll finish this guy up, and we will do our little ground and be done. I know her book is crazy. It's called Story Quilt, and there is an English version of it, and there's a second version of it too, like Story Quilt 2, I think. And I don't know, it's just eye candy for sure. Sometimes I'll get that book out and just look at it because it's just so pretty and amazing. All right. I didn't quite tuck it down all the way, so I'm just going to try and tuck it in. Oh, no, Patricia, that's fine. I think I kind of got what you're saying now. Enough that I can look it up and research more. All right, I think that is my last stitch there, so let's do one extra around and go to the back and tie it off. Yeah, I probably could have gotten that point at the bottom a little bit better, but that's okay. I think it's looking pretty cute. Oh, what I was saying is that all of these hearts are drawn wonky on purpose, like that's the design, which yields good things for needle turn because they don't have to be exactly perfect, exactly symmetrical, because you know they weren't drawn symmetrical, so that's good. So if you accidentally make one side a little smaller, that's good. It's done that way on purpose. I'm not doing the house first, and because I'm actually going to embroider it. So normally I would, if I was appliquing this whole thing, I would have for sure done the house first. With applique, you always want to work the farthest back element to the foreground elements. But in my case, I am embroidering the house. Because actually that's based on that book too. I was, that's kind of why I wanted to do needle turn again, just because I was inspired by that book. I'll show you again. So I think I have that page marked still. So she does like, yeah, this really cool thing where she's, again, this is Yukari Takahara, the Story Quilt, but she's combining applique and embroidery. And I just thought that was so cool. And I wanted to give that a try. I've never done that really before. We did that with 1 or 2 blocks from the Splendid Sampler, and I just thought it was awesome. So that's what I wanted to try with this quilt along. So I'm doing applique, and then I'm going to be embroidering the house in this orange, this coral orange for the rest of it. So kind of a funny little combo thing. We're gonna kind of see. We're going to see how that works. We'll see how it goes. All right, that is it for the hearts. Next up, I want to do this yellow for the ground, and that is it for applique then. Let's see, how do we want to do this? There's lots, kind of some fun patterns going on in here. When you were showing it last time, oh, you ordered it! Oh, yay! It is such a neat book. I think we're gonna go so all these things are kind of vertical. I don't know, is that weird? Do we think that'll look weird? It'll look like if we pretend that we put a curve in here. It's kind of neat fabric. I don't know, that's kind of weird and vintagey, isn't it? I kind of like it. Or maybe it should be horizontal though. Nah, that'll be weird. I think we'll do it just like this. So, okay. Next up, I wonder if I can see through there. No, I don't think so. So we will get the instructions out again. Oh, here we go. Grass, cut yellow. No need to applique bottom and sides. These will be included in seam allowance. All right. I am going to see if I can trace through this right onto my fabric. And if not, I think I can see. If not, I'm going to have to adjust a little bit. You know what? Let's press that first too. Oh, you're going to embroider everything too. Oh, too chicken for the needle turn. Yeah, that took me a little while. That took me a lot of practice on the Splendid Sampler Quilt Along and a lot of tricks. You guys taught me a whole lot of tricks here on Facebook Live to help out with, you know, the corners and the points and all that. And so I'm definitely getting a little bit better with the needle turn. But yeah, that's the book. That's the inspiration for why I'm doing needle turn and embroidery. You know what? This is a little different shape, it looks like. It's just a little curvier. I kind of like this shape better. This one has like a little loops in. I'm gonna get, here we go. We'll use this for this is the embroidery instruction piece. I'm gonna use that for my shape. And I think I can just barely see through it enough that this will work. So, all right. I'm gonna draw this line. Might have to peek up a little bit. There, I think I can see it now. There we go. And I'm going to extend it quite a ways. I'm going to extend it past where I need it to be because I do want to, there we go, I think there we got it. That's a good enough line. I'm going to do it, I want to make sure that I'm extending it this way and down far enough so that when I cut my 8.5, I want to make sure that, you know, it's long enough that that will be cut off too. So I wonder if we should measure 8.5. This isn't 8.5, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is almost 8. All right, so I want it to go like almost to the edges here. So I think what I'll do now is kind of lay this out. I'm going to rotate it this way, actually. We're going to do this by hand here. So I'm going to lay this where it's going to kind of sit. It was scooched over. So I'm just matching that line that I drew with the line here. And now I'm going to just take my dressmaker's scissors. Where'd you go? Oh, yeah, the reason I chose the yellow for the grass fabric is because she had that yellow in the original pattern, and I thought that was kind of neat. I liked that not all the fabric, or not all the grass was green. Sometimes it was green on some of the blocks, I think looked green, but not all of them. So I thought that was kind of neat. All right. I'm gonna just trim it kind of till I get to the edge there. Yeah, so I will be trimming quite a bit of this off, but that's okay. So I was just thinking, another issue I might have is when I cut, if I stitch all the way to the end, when I cut it off, I'm going to cut my stitches. So, but luckily I'll be sewing it into the quilt right away, so I don't think, you know, I'm going to cut off my knots at the end, which means the thing could unravel a little bit. But if I sew it all up right away, I'm thinking maybe that won't be an issue. So I'm going to just pretend this is going to work. How about that? We'll just see. So I'm making sure not to cut my background fabric as I do this. There we go. That edge will be cut clean later. Yep, have a question, been learning to embroider, have a wooden hoop. Is there a way to stop the fabric from getting loose all the time? One way would be to wrap your hoop. So if you take, I don't have an example real near me, but I can get one tomorrow. If you, first of all, I'm going to extend these lines a little bit. If you take some like scrap fabric, some long strips of scrap fabric like that are 1 inch wide or so, like long strips, and start wrapping it around the inner hoop. And until you have like, oops, don't cut there, I almost cut on the stitch line. I need to cut a seam allowance line. If you wrap your hoop, the inner hoop, that can help sometimes grip once you tighten the outer hoop around it all. So that would be one thing I would try, see if that works first. Okay, I might actually, maybe I'll when I start the embroidery, I think I'm going to use the hoop that I have wrapped so I can show you what that looks like tomorrow, because I think it'll protect my appliques a little bit more, because I won't have a big scrunch mark on it when it's wrapped too. All right, so here we go. Now this one I am going to baste a little bit more. So first I'm going to place that, match my lines up, and I think that's looking pretty decent. So here we go. I'll get a little longer line here. Oh, it's so silly. It's so weird and vintagey, this fabric. I think it's going to be neat. All right, I'm going to baste this now. I think we'll try that with it just sitting on the table here. All right, are we all lined up? Yep. So now here I'm going to kind of go a bit further down so I have enough room to tuck in the seam allowance, to needle turn the seam allowance. Yeah, I think that might be the best way to give it a go. I mean, versus just, you know, tightening your hoop more. But if that's not working, then yeah, wrapping the hoop can help a little bit with that. We're still pretty much lined up here. So I'm just doing big stitches. This is just to temporarily hold the fabric again while we work. No, I didn't really check to see if these were like perfectly vertical or anything, so they're just not going to be. All right, I think that's probably enough. All right, I'm going to just trim those ends so they don't get annoying and in my way. And now we can needle turn this whole guy, and I think that'll go pretty quick. It's a nice straightaway. You know, there are some curves in here, so we could snip it a little to reduce the bulk, but I think it's straight enough that I don't think I'm going to have that many issues with it. So we will just give it a go as is. Okay, let's stitch this guy. So I'm hoping that this will be a little bit easier than all the other appliques because it's just big and straight. Like it's basically, it's not really a straight line, but it might as well be. It's pretty straight as far as a curve goes. So I'm just gonna fold that under to get it started. Again, I'm folding on that line that I drew on this yellow fabric, but also trying to match it up a little bit. And I don't even need to go all the way to the end because remember, we're gonna cut that off a little bit. And then we're gonna sew it in the quilt right away. So this is what I'm wondering. Like, I'm wondering if she just does it like this from the book. Oh man, forgot her name again. Yukari Takahara from the Story Quilt book. I'm wondering if she's just on a flat surface, probably with a longer needle. We talked about a Milner's needle, and maybe she's just going in and out like this. I bet you she's just doing it right on the table like this. We're gonna practice with this. I bet you she's just tucking it under. Oh, I have my hand available too to help tuck under. This might be a little key here. But again, I would have to get this right in front of my face because right now it's a little far away. I think a little longer needle. But this might be how to do a large quilt. No, don't do it this way. It's just as bad to do it this way, Rosalie. Oh yeah, maybe a hoop or a frame. That makes sense. No, don't do it this way. All right, we'll do one more stitch. I can't see it very well, so I'm gonna pick it up anyway. But yeah, maybe if she's on a frame, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense, actually. It feels better when you hold it like this. Oh, there's just not as much control as this. Well, that makes sense. This is a little funny dip in it, this little hill. I think we'll leave that a little bit. Yeah, you don't have this little bend that you do. You kind of lose that control. I can see that. I don't know. Lots to learn yet, that's for sure. Definitely can see it when it's closer to my face. All right, I'm kind of half going by my line and the line that's drawn in the background. Ultimately, I think for this piece, I'm gonna err on the side of doing what's on the background, so the background line, because that affects where it covers up the base of my stems and the flowers and some other things. So I'm gonna just keep tucking it under and lining it up with my background line. I'm gonna Google that, how to do whole quilt needle turns. Well, that's true. So like, for example, a Hawaiian quilt is a whole quilt needle turn. That's not done with a bunch of little blocks that you're sewing together. That's one big, giant, intricate piece of fabric that's going all over the place. So there's a way to do it for sure. I'm sure someone's got a technique going. It might just be in their lap, and they might. I think I've even whole cloth quilts. You would just not have. You just would not have control and be able to do tiny stuff. And if you go slow because you have more hold, you just go slow. Okay, that makes sense. You just go slow because you have more to hold. This is a nice straight line. This is relaxing, this kind of needle turn where you're not doing many stars and or points and stuff. Just a nice, gentle curve. All right, that's looking good. Yay, we're gonna start embroidery tomorrow. That's a little earlier than I thought we'd get to it, so that's exciting. Oh, you do sit in a chair and have it on your lap. Okay. One of these days, like, I would love to do one of those giant Hawaiian quilts that's a whole cloth quilt with just two colors and, you know, do a fun design, like a fun, like, snowflake design sort of for that. That'd be kind of a neat project. That seems like it would take a lifetime to do, though. It'd still be fun. I got a few kind of big stitches in here. Maybe I'm being too casual with this straight line. Now, technically, once I have this stitched, I could kind of cut out a bit of the white background fabric from behind if I don't want it so thick. Because right now I'm going to have the two layers of fabric, and I could trim that background fabric to the seam allowance here. I'm not sure I'm going to do that though. All right, we're coming up to our little green stems. Oh, that'd be sweet, Deborah. That sounds like a sweet project. Doing a memory quilt with family pictures that look like they're on a bookcase with books. That would be cute. Cute, cute. It's fun and relaxing. Oh, and does not take a lifetime. They go pretty fast because it's so relaxing. Well, that is good news, Rosalie. Well, I guess that makes sense. Kind of like knitting. You know, I keep saying that kind of knitting and crochet are my go-to just chill. If I just want to zen out and not think about anything and still be making something, those are my go-to crafts. Unless, you know, not if I have a big intricate like knitting pattern or something, then not so much. But when it's just, you know, knit one row and then, you know, knit and purl the next row or whatever it is, something that I don't have to think, so simple that I don't have to think. Those are the projects I like, and that you're right. You just keep working on it, and then eventually gets done. So I could see having just a big old needle turn project by the TV or something and just break it out and do some more stitches, especially if it's all pre-basted. So like if I have everything stitched down like this, so all my pieces, or a lot of pieces, at least for the section that I would be working on, is all ready to go, and all I gotta do is pick it up and start tucking the edges under. That'd be pretty neat. You're right. I think maybe that, you know, that wouldn't take long. It would just be like picking up the knitting project, which in theory should take forever, but doesn't either because you're working on it. I suppose it depends on how much TV I'm going to be watching. Depends if I'll be doing like watching all episodes of Game of Thrones again or something like that. I'll have to do that before the last season comes out. I watched them all again before this season. Um, so before next season comes out, maybe I'll have to do that again. Get a whole quilt done then, I'm sure. Right, we are cruising along, going on, this is stem number 2. And we're getting there. Oh, it's looking sweet. Oh, this ground is so goofy. I kind of really like it. It's just so weird, this fabric with it. I like it. Oops, lost my needle. I do want to look into, I'm going to have to get on Amazon today, I think. I'm going to look at some of those longer Milner's needles. Or, you know, maybe I'll do some Googling at best needles for needle turn and do that. What I like about the needle I'm using is that it's really thin and it's got a sharp point. But if it was longer, that'd be better, I think. Just tucking in a little fuzzle here. You don't even pre-baste, but... Oh, wow. So you don't pre-baste, you just get the piece of fabric and stick it on and start stitching. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, you could even cut it while you sit there, too. The part that is zen to me is this part, the stitching it down. So if I can get all the other parts, or some of the other parts that aren't as zen done, pre-done, then I can just do the chill out part. I think I might not do it otherwise. If it was there for the intention to zone out, I would want it prepped for that already. But maybe the other parts would get like that too for me if I just treated it as such. I don't know. Definitely in the back of my head that I need to do something like that. This is kind of satiating that a little bit, this project. The idea of needle turning more than what I've done before. And I get to play with that combination of needle turn and applique. But yeah, I don't know. This might graduate into a whole quilt. We'll see. Actually, I also have a sunbonnet Sue idea. I know we've talked about that, so maybe needle turn might fall into that category a little bit. I'll think about that. We are getting there. We're on the home stretch here now. We're kind of running out of thread a little bit. I could have gotten a little bit more. But actually, I think the smaller bits of thread are easier than having one long one. You've tried different needles, Milner's and straws. Oh, Milner straws. Oh, and you did not like them. Oh, okay, they are too flimsy. That's my concern. I don't want a flimsy needle. Or you're too rough. They bend too easily. Okay, so that's the problem that I want to avoid. That right there, Josa. So I'll have to look into that a little bit more. That's like because a beading needle was brought up, and I was like, but beading needles are really flexible, and that's I want something that's not flexible at all, but still a sharp point and maybe a hair longer than this, because I don't know. I think it could be. Or it'd be worth a try at least. Maybe I wouldn't like a longer needle. I'm gonna lose it again. There we go. All right, now we're to the end of the drawn line, but I'm just gonna add more stitches just to make sure we have it when I trim this to the 8.5 inches. But I'm not gonna do that till all the embroidery is done. Oh, thanks, Patricia. Use a small quilting needle. That's kind of what I'm using now. Maybe try a size 9 or 10 Milner's. Yeah. I watched a tutorial, I think a Missouri Star quilting tutorial, and they mentioned something, but that was back during the Splendid Sampler. I don't know what they said. All right, I'm gonna do this as my last stitch. So let's go around again there. Come on, get in there. Oh, geez, lost my needle again. I seem to do that a lot. That's something I gotta work out still. Stop dropping the needle. Okay. And there we are. Let's tie the end in quick. Oh, and we can get our basting stitches out. So I'm just gonna pull on those. Don't need that anymore. And let's tie a little knot. All right, and just tucking that edge. You like the straw. They're long and thin and they do eventually bend. Oh, they get dull too. Well, that's kind of what I'm wondering with this one. I've been using this little quilting needle or like small sharps needle forever, and I'm not sure it's going through fabric as well anymore. So I think it's getting a little dull. So it's kind of time. Oh, look at it. So there we are. Got that ground on, and I'm not worrying. It's a little folded and the whole thing is a little crumpled, but it's gonna get like that a little bit even more when we do this. So it'll get uncrumpled when I take all the water soluble ink out, which I might not do till the whole quilt's done. We'll see. But all right, so everything else, this got a little bunched up there, but again, I think that'll be okay. Everything else we will stitch with this coral color. I think that'll be fun. I think in general, so all the houses are going to be, I want it to be consistent. So all of the houses will be this coral color. And then all of the flowers and hearts will be a mix of the colors here. So I'll go around all these bits, and then I'll probably still go back and add, I don't know. I'm undecided. I don't know if I'll add these little circles with the X's. I don't think I'm going to add these veins. I think the leaves are fine as is, and I don't want this. Although that's awfully cute. I was going to say I don't really want this coral color to compete, but now that I lay it on there, that's kind of cute. The extra little embroidery. I don't know. I'm going to try it. This is 3340. This is DMC. I think it's a cute color. I actually have it on a giant cone, and that's what I'll bring upstairs. I'll bring that here so I can show you guys. And I'll work off that cone just so I don't have to break open this guy. But now that I'm looking at it, maybe I like the little detail. Maybe I'm going to like extra little embroidery on these leaves. Oh man, I think I might like it on all the applique. Okay, well, we might be doing all the extra little inside the applique stuff. So we'll see. But that's what we'll do tomorrow. We will be starting up the embroidery. Oh, I think I might have said applique a few times instead of embroidery. But we'll be doing, starting the embroidery. So we'll probably work to get a lot of the house done right away just so it feels like we did a lot. And I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I'll probably start up here just because I know what I'm going to do for these and work my way down, and then I can have time to make my decision on like if I'm going to do a stitch the heart in there or these circles and stuff. So yeah, I think we'll start here and work that way. But all right, guys, I am going to flip you around and we will call it an evening. Okay, so here we are. You can see it. Oh, I like the, from far away, I like the, this is so silly. It's such a goofy pattern. It's got this like weird brocade and these flowers. It's just delicate and weird, and I think it's gonna go with some of the other patterns. You know, it goes with this pattern a lot. That's really delicate and intricate. Just things I don't usually work with, so I'm pretty excited about it, and it'll be fun to get going on the embroidery tomorrow as well. So I am so happy that the applique is done. Not that I don't like it, I thought it was going to take longer, and I'd like to get this get block 1 done, hopefully before we start the Craft a Happy Life embroidery project on Tuesday of next week. We'll see. I think we might need 1 or 2 more days of sewing, but maybe not. We'll see how fast this embroidery goes starting tomorrow. So awesome, guys. I will get this up on Penguin and Fish Movies on YouTube. And if you are wanting to watch the other videos of this, if you just do a search for I Love Home quilt or Penguin and Fish Movies, something will pop up. Or if you even do the Splendid Sampler, that will pop up too on YouTube. If you just do a general search, you'll get to my page that way. And it will also be here on the Penguin and Fish YouTube or Facebook page. It'll stay here right where you're watching it now. It will go, the replay will go up after I get finished here. And yeah, I will look into some of those needles a little bit more and before block 2, hopefully, where we'll be doing more applique and see how it goes. And thanks for all the advice and everything tonight. I appreciate it. That's how I learn new things. So awesome. I will check you guys out tomorrow. Thanks for all the hearts and thanks for all the thumbs ups. I do appreciate that a lot. And that's that for tonight, guys. See you tomorrow.